These planes have round noses, 6-window cockpits, and 2 engines under the wings, sitting quietly by the jet bridge. Seen him in Beijing, Shanghai, and airports in Sydney, London, New York. He's everywhere, like an airport NPC on loop. As common as full-width taillights, you pass boarding gates without a glance. They share a name, Airbus A320, but blending in shows the A320 utterly won. The US Boeing 737 was once the sole default narrow-body. Over 10,737s sold since 1967. Airlines know it. Pilots trust it. Maintenance masters it. Airports accommodate it. For 50 years, civil aviation has revolved around the 737 system. Boeing rode the 737 securely atop the narrow-body market for decades. In 2025, the younger A320 overtook the 737 with 12,257 deliveries, dethroning it. Against decades-old rules, how did the A320 persuade the world a newcomer could be safer, thriftier, handier, future-ready from day one? In this episode, I'll show you how the A320 went from being an underdog rookie to the most familiar sight at airports worldwide. How it, on Boeing's pre-built track, used superior design to catch up, pass, then finally steal 737's crown away? '737's decades-long streak. In the 1960s, airlines realized many routes didn't need wide bodies. City hops of 300 to 2,000 kilometers needed a smaller, cheaper jet that could turn around faster. The 737 emerged from this backdrop. It debuted modestly, no world-shaking claims, only practical realism. Fuselage kept the Boeing 707 and 727 cross-section, 6 abreast cabin. Airlines didn't need to adapt. Short landing gear kept the fuselage low. With poor airports, baggage handling, refueling, and maintenance checks were easier. For airlines, the 737's draw isn't futurism. It's less hassle, less risk, and ready for service. Aviation's always practical. White or black planes' profit makes them good. Each morning airlines worry about attendance, fuel, maintenance, pilot training. Burst mover 737 built trust, detail by detail slowly. From 737-100 to classic to famed 737NG. Each generation changed, yet its core logic stayed intact. For airlines, a new 737 meant simply staying the course. Airlines bought it, so contracts, leases, and global used market residuals orbit 737. Pilots flew it. Countless sins, logs and instrument scan habits, even throttle hand placement became 737 muscle memory. Maintenance had serviced it. So adapters, jack point coordinates, and screw torque specs were all set by default to 737. Airports serve it daily, so bridge height, stand marks, and fuel ports on the ramp are all built for 737s. The 737 was beyond a plane, forever changing aviation norms, and habit is the deepest mode. Airlines won't simply choose another aircraft just because a few parameters are better. Better means scrapping decades of work. Switch planes. Lose everything? For most airlines, switching costs are prohibitive, so they keep buying 737s, owing Boeing endlessly. When the A320 debuted, it faced more than a typical US narrow-body. It faced Boeing's decades-earned industry trust. Airlines knew this model. An old order built together by pilots, mechanics, airports. Airbus can't win making a European 737. It must solve pain points, innovate, and enter lanes. Early 1980s, Airbus advanced A320, facing critical fork. Left, the safe route traditional cables, central yoke, making a narrow-body jet like industry norms. The right took a bolder route, Fly-by-wire, sidestick, glass cockpit, redefining aircraft with digital control logic. Starting from zero, why not go all in? Airbus finally chose that. For fly-by-wire, many think it's just cables replaced by wires. It's much more. The change isn't the wire, it's a computing, judging, protective system between pilot and plane. Early aircraft controls were simple. Pilots pulled the stick and pressed pedals, sending cable linkages to ailerons, elevators, rudders. Back then, flying was like biking. Pedal hard, steer, obey. Later, jets gained hydraulic assist, yet the logic stayed still. Humans act. Mechanical linkages transmit motion. This is Boeing's design soul. The machine obeys humans. As planes sped up, grew complex. Old methods failed. Fighter jets suffered first, by far. For maneuverability, fighters can't always be rock steady. They must be agile, even statically unstable. This makes it more responsive, but pilots can't keep it steady using feel and linkages alone. Fly-by-wire emerged. Pilots no longer move surfaces directly. The sidestick commands intent, like pitching up 5 degrees. Sensor reads displacement, converts to signal, sends to flight computer. Computer uses airspeed, angle of attack, and G-load to set surface deflection, then commands the actuator. During this process, the computer runs commands and checks they're safe. F-16, mass-fielded statically unstable fly-by-wire fighter, set its center of gravity behind the aero center. Without 40-per-second computer fixes, it loses control in 0.3 seconds. Later B-2 when flying wing. No vertical tail. Inherently unstable, with often highly counterintuitive controls. Pilots can't hand fly non-stop. It stays steady thanks to multiple flight control computers computing, correcting constantly. Consider China's J-20, the 800 million Angel, with 16 control surfaces, relying on cables. Even an octopus couldn't manage. Fly-by-wire automates control surface mixing in a closed loop. Enter intent, and it computes the best combo dozens per second, keeping unstable aircraft steady. So why fly-by-wire? Airliners aren't fighters. No high-angle maneuvers. No dogfights with hundreds aboard, yet Airbus still chose it too. Right. Airliners don't need fly-by-wire for stunts, but for limits. Airliners aren't built as unstable as fighters. The conditions are tricky. CG varies by load full/half/empty through flight, with added risks. Turbulence, wind shear, stall edge, and pilot error. Traditional cable controls relay pilot inputs, but can't tell if an input is safe in conditions. That's fly-by-wire's value. Stick pull isn't a direct surface angle command for the system. Computer first checks speed, altitude, attitude, and angle of attack, then chooses response. I have no winch. On airliners, fly-by-wire isn't for wilder moves. It keeps flight steadier and safer design. That's A320's key change. Airbus brought fighter jet logic. Pilots stayed intent. Systems execute and protect. Into airliners. In normal flight, A320 limits AOA, G-load, bang, and speed to avoid danger. The pilot remains in charge, but now controls a digital flight system that understands commands, screens risk, and keeps limits. But it posed a bigger issue. Without the visible mechanical link, it feels unsettling. How ensure safety? Engineers built redundancy. Failures can happen, yet get handled. What matters most is unseen to us. A320 flight controls run on 5 computers, each powered, computing, and cross-checking. Auto detects, isolates, switches, keeps aircraft controllable. Airbus engineers don't bet parts lost forever. Instead, they pre-build backup layers. Fighters use fly-by-wire for peak performance. A320 uses it to manage routine risk. Of course, fly-by-wire's real point is this. As Boeing pilots grapple with rough air, sweating, Airbus pilots go woo eco, flip out the A320's tray table, and savor French foie gras. Calm and classy. To boot. February 14, 1987. Valentine's Day. Airbus Toulouse gave world sweet chocolate. First A320 rolled out. Charles and Diana cut the ribbon. Champagne popped. Lights flashed. Europe watched. Then Europe's rookie looked ready to match America's reign. But chocolate's aftertaste wasn't sweet as expected. A year later, a new A320 airshow demo carried 136 lucky passengers. In cockpit sat Air France Captain Michel Asseline, 10,000 plus hours. But then during a low-altitude pass, A320 kept descending, crashed into woods, killing 3 passengers. Accident aired live. Footage replayed worldwide on TV repeatedly. Later inquiries found the A320 wasn't to blame. Fly-by-wire even postponed the crash somewhat. The system tried hard. But for new A320, public won't calmly sort this system versus human error. What people remembered was this new, futuristic aircraft crashing into a forest at the airshow. Thus, this man-made crash darkened the new A320. Airbus, in a trust crisis, kept delivering. Bigger challenges soon followed. In the late 80s, the A320 faced its top rival, Boeing's Peak 737. Boeing launched the CFM56-737 Classic in 1984. By A320 entry, it had a 1,500 plane lead. Not over. Mid-90s, Boeing launched 737NG to take on the A320. Fuel efficiency and Boeing's global support helped 737NG regain ground fast. Seattle's money never dries up there. Airshow crash casts shadow. Veteran 737 squeezes from both sides. Europe needs subsidies. America stays shut. In A320's early years, every step was perilous. Airbus won nothing. Always outmatched then. But a new order can't be established easily with just a few orders or a few more aircraft deliveries. Truly important changes often seem insignificant at first. From day one, A320 wasn't just for today. Airbus brought fly-by-wire, side sticks, and glass cockpits to airliners, reshaping pilot aircraft ties and leaving design margin. A320 has taller gear, more clearance, extra room under engines, wings overall, early on. These details hid quietly. No pretty sales curves, no launch champagne glare either. Aircraft design works this way. Details seem pointless, until 20 to 30 years later, stacked demands reveal how priceless that reserved space was. Early on, the A320 pried a crack in Boeing's market. It eased pilots into a new cockpit logic. Airlines embraced family fleets. Civil aviation accepted that future jets simply needn't follow Boeing's old path anymore. 20 years of grit, then one move as clouds broke. When counterattack came, saw Airbus's blade ready. In 2010, Airbus struck first. Its weak past was gone. It unveiled A320neo plans. Neo, new engine option. Top-tier jets favor simple upgrades. Airbus didn't start over, but squeezed every spare ounce from the A320 platform. Fuel-saving engines need bigger fans and higher bypass ratios. Engines mean clearance issues? Airbus can cope. There was ample space under the A320's wings, allowing engineers to fit the new engines with ease and without major modifications. This upgrade was hugely tempting. Airlines avoid new model risk, cut fuel 20%, have noise instantly. Year height to airframe. Fly-by-wire to training. Years of work finally pay off. A familiar plane was pushed into competition again. Seattle's Boeing was completely blindsided. The 737 program barreled ahead. I came first. How did it end up like this? A year later, 737 MAX rushed out. Airbus re-engines A320. Why not 737 too? but 737's strength and burden is maturity. Every upgrade must bargain with a 60-year-old airframe design. Early aviation era. The 737 had low ground clearance for rough airports. When fitting CFM56s, Boeing already flattened nacelles, cramming in two buns, tougher than CFM56. New engine too big. 737 legs too short won't fit. Boeing had to shift engines forward and up. That upset the aircraft's aerodynamic trim, raising stall risk more. To cover hole, Boeing overnight hired Indian outsourcers to build MCAS. We know what followed. The 737 MAX shattered Boeing's century legacy. 50 years 737 trust vanished overnight. Yet the A320's fly-by-wire has saved lives repeatedly. On February 17, 2024, Lufthansa A321 flew bound Frankfurt-Belgrade. In cruise, captain used restroom. First officer alone in cockpit. 46 later, the co-pilot seized and lost consciousness, hit overhead switches, and stomped the rudder. At high-speed cruise, steering input can instantly trigger roll loss, but Airbus fly-by-wire sensed an anomaly, judged it not pilot input but dangerous, refused it, allowed only tiny rudder deflection. Autopilot stayed engaged, quickly corrected attitude. FO briefly woke, opened cockpit door. Captain took over, diverted to Madrid. Fly-by-wire core logic. When pilots' commands exceed limits, computers refuse outright. But the 737 MCAS did the opposite, causing crashes. One rejects orders, the other blindly obeys errors. The market stays silent. Cash casts the loudest vote. In Sept 2025, Flynas received an A320neo, A320 family's 12,257th total delivery since entering service in 1998. Then Boeing 737 deliveries totaled 12,555 across models. 2 planes ahead, A320 overtook 737 historically after almost 40 years. By April, Airbus held 54% share of the single-aisle market, while Boeing slipped to 33%. From A320's grit to A320neo's comeback, and A321XLR's expansion. No one-off victory, only a steadily growing platform here. In this narrow-body jet war that has lasted nearly half a century, the flood of orders from airlines has provided the clearest answer. Now Xpeng brings its aeronautics logic down to earth. GX uses a drive-by-wire chassis, with steer-by-wire derived from fly-by-wire. In gas cars, mechanics pass steering to front wheels, erect but rigid, low speed, quick steering for U-turns, high speed, steady steering, no sway from inputs. Mechanical steering's tied to shaft, both ends suffer. Xpeng GX cuts steering wheel to wheel's mechanical link. Commands become now pure electrical signals. Driver steering feeds the system first. It responds by speed, attitude, road conditions, and driving context. Low speed 0.6 ratio plus rear steering lets this SUV U-turn and park like a sedan. High speed steering steadies won't twitch from small inputs. Same car, nimble low, steady high. Easy to control, but without physical links. What if systems fail? Then like A320 fly-by-wire, multiple redundancies. Xpeng GX steer-by-wire has 4 safety backups. First, main steering system handles most turns. Backup steering takes over when the main fails. Even in extreme cases, if both fail, GX isn't helpless. Chassis system brakes one front wheel and steers rear, keeping control to pull over safely. Like A320 fly-by-wire redundancy, backup after backup, nested like dolls, in flight. A320 fly-by-wire steadies plane if pilot faints on highways. Xpeng GX uses 4 safety backups to self-change lanes. Slow. Stop safely. Xpeng GX adds redundancy beyond steer-by-wire across the car. Motor fails at speed, can power handover stay smooth? GX front-rear motors back up each other. If one fails, other takes over in 1 millisecond. Unnoticed. Go fast. Still stop. Brake redundancy helps. Main brake fails, can it stop steady? Xpeng GX uses 4 brake backups. In worst cases, mechanical backup gives 0.5 G decile double legal by-wire chassis. Steering, brakes and drive use electric signals. Link loss makes redundancy useless. So, Xpeng GX uses dual buses for comms redundancy. Logic-wise, like A320 AFDX redundancy, critical data runs on A/B dual networks. If one fails, other delivers. Many fixate on big batteries. Driving, braking, steering depend on low-voltage power system. GX uses dual low-voltage feeds. 2 12V batteries under seats. If main fails, backup takes over seamlessly. Door unlock redundancy is the ultimate puzzle. Always ensure a last escape route. GX has 4 unlock backups. If electronics fail, a mechanical handle links directly. Smart cars still need sure escape. Key: these 6 interlock. Piling backups just repeats the old mindset. GX redundancies work together. If trouble hits, steering recovers course, drive steadies power, brakes slow, comms keep commands flowing, power keeps systems alive, doors unlock for escape. Together they define GX's system safety matrix. From planes to cars, advanced safety means systems judge, take over, and stay controllable in tough situations. A320's rise wasn't overnight. It challenged the 737's old order with new control logic. Its wins simply surpassed the old era. Xpeng GX isn't just a plane-turned car. It signals drive-by-wire cars rewriting all logic. We once trusted mechanics, a link between pedal, steering, wheels. As tech advances, cars rely more on signals, controllers, buses, redundancy. Safety shifts from part reliability to system reliability. System stays aware, isolates faults, switches links, and brings the vehicle to safety. From A320 to Xpeng GX, same industrial logic, control shifts. Stronger systems rebuild safety, true advanced safety. Before the worst, system readies your next